I think we're live. Maybe we're live now. Yeah, I think I'm actually a little early. How's that? All right, now let me just bring the comments up. And there they are. Now let's see if we have anybody here. And it'll also show me the delay, because someone will say, hey, what's up? And I know it's like a 40-second delay or even a minute. Looks like Mr. Bissy 29 is here. Am I live? Am I not live? It says I'm live. Yo! Okay. All right. There we go. Hearing you loud and clear. What's up from Oregon? You know what? I have this. I'm going to turn this off. I have a little space heater going there. That's annoying. I can hear it through the headphones. So who do we have here? A whole bunch of people. What's up, dudes? Geez, I think I have two locals here. We got James and Michael. We got San Antone. I was a saucier down in San Antone. Howdy, folks. Oh, NAMM, NAMM, NAMM. Sitting on the Hudson. What's up, buddy? What's up, Matt? What's up, Don? Yeah, I got a, that's a pretty strong coffee right there. That's a Costa Rican dark blend. Amesbury, another local dude. Oh, yeah, we're here. What's up, Phil? What's up, Ken? Yo, teach a riff tonight. Done. Who else is in a good mood? We got Tulsa. We got Italy, Italia, Phoenix, Corona, California. What's up, slideshow guy? Yeah, I love the Ibanez too. We got Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. We have San Diego. I've been in down San Diego way a few times. Atlanta, Phoenix, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, Dallas, Texas, Oklahoma. Everybody's here. Western Mass. Haverhill, England, thanks for staying up, buddy. I really appreciate that. Jamaica Plain, all the way down in Jamaica Plain. Which is like 8 miles from here. Pittsburgh, PA. Los Angeles, baby. That's my LA riff. How much coffee have you had? I've had a lot of coffee today. I just finished that pot. I've had a pot of coffee today. Does it show? Pottsville, PA. What's up, big sexy? Yeah, not chopped liver. Western Australia, Northern Alabama, Brazil, or Uruguay, one of those. Sounds good in Philly. Good to hear that. Hello from Backslash. I've been there a few times. Hey, Krell Bob, Burrville, Rhode Island. You're local. That's local enough. Pretty dense here. Got Detroit, Sarasota, Serbia. You're up late. Chile. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Jacksonville. I could actually get back up here a little bit. It's moving on me here, dudes. Queensland, Australia. Top of the morning to you, bro. Ohio. We got Orlando. Just got out of bed. That sounds like Florida time. Spring Grove, PA. Throw down some Sabbath from Los Angeles. Come on, put up your fucking hands. That's the drunk Sabbath. Birmingham, UK. What's up, Dave? We got Chile. We got, have you heard anything about the Dragonfire pickups? I have not. I don't know much about that. Is that is that a new Ibanez pickup? I forget now. Someone will go, Ibanez, dude, what? I'll go show you, I really don't know. London, England. Nottingham, England. Quebec. Northampton, England. Oh, we got a few people from the old country here. It's always nice. Argentina. Hamilton, New York. Pottsville, PA. Wisconsin. You know what? I thought it had stopped, but actually when I moved up, it's been going way freaking past this. I better catch up here. Scotland and Springfield and Norristown and go Falcons. Good luck. Although you probably get a soundbite of me saying that. Tone King, New Jersey in the house. What's up, buddy? This riff is for Tone King. My hands are frozen. That's why I had the space heater on. If they keep staying ice cold like this, I might have to turn the space heater back on. Matt says, hate to say it, but the PRS John Mayer amp and the guitar sound had pretty awesome tone. You know, the PRS is pretty friggin' awesome. You know, London, Ontario, what's up, dude? Miss my Ibanez yells, yeah. We have Paris, CA. We got the East Tennessee. We've got Westport, Mass. We got Nottingham. What's up, Mitch? I'm glad you caught me live, too. Great to see you, buddy. Though I technically can't see you. It's all in the spirit. Yorktown, Virginia. Jamaica Plain right next to Jamaica Fancy. Yeah, it's right down the street. Actually, there are parts of Jamaica Plain that are quite fancy. Jamaica Plain is one of those cities that it really just depends on the street you're on. It can be a little hoity-toity. Glasgow, Scotland, what's up? Tone sound great. Thanks, Tone King. I'm playing TH3 still. Nottingham. Edinburgh, Scotland. Irish West Coast. Precambrian Shield. Play along all along the Watchtower, please. That was a... Montreal. Hey, Nola Reno. That sounds like a bad Limp Bizkit song. Yeah, I know. I was channeling my inner... who's that dude? Oh, God. They did a video with the Strat. Did you see that guy? What band was he from? It's some 90s band, and they gave him the Strat, and it was like, oh, God, it was horrible. El Paso, Australia. We got Boise. Southie. Nice. That's where I bought my first Strat down on K Street. London, England. What's up, Zach? What's up, Sean? Steve, you ever look into those pre-lawsuit Ibanez guitars? Look into them. I own one. I don't have one that's with the diamond though. That ended, I think, in '75, and mine's a '76. So I have the first year where they stole the Guild headstock. All right, I'm going to try and work down on these comments here real quick. What's up from KC? Sell me that guitar. I need that in my life. I know. You know, the white balance might be not quite up. These don't match. These are actually off. See, as I move away, you can see the color difference more. When it's closer, it lights it up enough that they look more matched. But they're not. They're not even closely matched. This was yellow. I pulled this off, and I could look underneath. This was yellow, and then a guy painted it black, and the guy painted it yellow again. Dundee, Scotland, what's up, dude? Yorkshire, England, Boise, Idaho, Saudi Arabia, Texas Panhandle, Nashville, BC, nice. Gotta love British Columbia. Naples, Wilmington, Honolulu, Australia. God, we got a lot of people. Lake Ariel, PA, Brisbane, Australia. Top of the morning to you, buddy. Do a Nuno riff for you. I don't know if I know too. I know the, his ballad stuff, but I don't know his electric stuff, I'll be honest. Hi from Sweden. Hello, Sweden. Long Island, El Paso. Oh, geez, we got Tulsa, we got Ireland. How'd you get TH3 into YouTube Live? I just run the output to the input on the streaming computer. I don't think it would work if they were all the same computer. Right? That wouldn't work. So I have one computer just for the music and one for the stream. And that seems to do it. Pittsburgh, PA, West Penn Hospital here. What's up? I hope you're not in the hospital. I hope you're working. But if you're in the hospital, I hope you recover quickly. Let's see here. Let me just move up. Indianapolis, Chicago, Iowa. You like the Ibanez Premium Series? I do. I think that you can get a better deal if you just look for some of the older Prestige, though. They're nice guitars, the Premium, don't get me wrong. But I don't think you're going to get the resale value like you will on the Prestige. And the Prestige is used are right around the same money the Premiums are new. So, there's that. Chicago, Toronto, New York City. Ontario. We got Jordan. We got them all over the place. Folsom, PA, Connecticut. Any Whitesnake for us? I guess not. Man. There we go. Oh, so much better when you're in tune. England loves this channel. Manchester, England loves this channel. Thank you, Manchester, England. And I love Manchester. Go Pats. I hear you. Though, I mean, if we're being honest, do we have any pressure on us at all? Right? The spread is -3 for the Pats. That's pretty much break even. They can't have break even. Right? So it's always like minus, it's always plus or minus something. I think it might have even shrunk to -2. So at any rate, we've already won a bunch and they haven't won one. I'd say the pressure's on them. Plastow, Montreal. How many guitars do you want? Boy, I get that all the time. It depends. Did you count the beaters? You count the ones that have no pickups in them? Right? I don't know. It's in the 20s, probably the 30s. Hey, Navajo John, what's up, buddy? I did see that Parker guitar email you sent me. Someone says something is off. What's off? Am I off? I have 2 RG550s and an RG570. Those are awesome. Though that collection's screaming for a 560. Though you probably like the 2 doubles, right? That's what the 550 and 570 get you. Hey, Montreal. Pats by 14. Yeah, we'll see. All they have to do is win by 1, and I'll be happy. Pats by 1, and I'm okay. You know? I don't think I need the Allen key. Though, I will say, I did restring it last night, so these strings are brand new. Your channel is clearer than any other channel on YouTube. I do take a little time to try and make the signal clear. I thought TK's looked really good last night. I don't know if he's still here, but Tone King, did you switch to OBS? I know we had talked about doing a different streaming software, or were you still using Adobe Media Encoder? Did I see, was Rocco in here? Where's Rocco? Did Rocco sneak past me? Maybe he did. Yeah, I agree. Oh, there he is. There he is. Rocco is here. Guys, if you don't know Rocco, and Rocco, it's hard for me. Is it Petson, right? Is it, because usually when it's two Z's, the correct pronunciation is like a TS in English. So it would be Rocco Petson, not Pezzin, right? As Americans are likely to do. I like to get it correct if I can, but he's an amazing guitar player, you know. Sarni, you're down in Orlando? You down there on the weekend or something? I thought you were up in still up here. All right, Isaac said it was a joke, so all right. I worry about quality. I stay awake at night. Not really. But yeah, no, Rocco's a really amazing player. And I think if you saw my other stream where we were talking about it, I had never seen him, play before. And I saw him at the NAMM show at the Chapman booth. And he was just nailing that talking stuff. I was going, oh, man. Now you're talking. All right, so we have TWF7847. It was cool to meet you and Baker at the Duncan booth on Thursday. Doug Rappaport was awesome. Yes, absolutely. Nice to meet you as well. So Rocco says I'm right. It's TS. It's Petson. Yeah, see? I try. I'm trying. There was no Gorilla booth at NAMM. Disappointed. Yeah, no Gorilla, no Ram amp. God. How do you like the scallop frets picks? You thinking about scallop? I like it. It's like the world's most giant frets. This has pretty big frets anyway. The frets on this thing are friggin' enormous. But the guy very lightly scalloped it from the 14th fret up. I guess he just picked a spot. I would have just done the whole thing at that point. Or maybe the 12th fret up. It's like, why the 14th fret? Maybe he started working from the top down and he got out here and said, all right, I'm good. But I like it. I have another guitar, one I scalloped myself. I did that all the way back in 1989. I scalloped that guitar, and I never look back, The only thing about the scallops is you need a heavier string, or you're going to be constantly pushing notes out of tune. If you put nines on a scallop guitar, you have to have the world's lightest touch, right? If you have a touch that's like, if you really want to play with a little bit of aggression, I would put like 10s or really even 11s on, What I've been is just, this is a 1980, probably an 87 or an 88. Actually, this has the V7 and the V8, so this is probably a 1990 or a 1991. Ibanez RG550, made in Japan. It's got a neck so thin you could cut yourself on it. That's how thin these necks are. They're crazy thin. Some people really hate them just for that point. They really hate the thinness of this neck, but I love it. Right? It's weird, but there's something about the Wizard, the original Wizard neck, which is what this is. It made wizards out of mere mortals, right? Are you getting a new LNG gem, Steve? No, I found my old gem online. Can you believe this? I found my old gem online. I believe it resides in the UK now. And it was right there. And it had number 117. And that was it. That's the one I had. I had 117. And there it was. And the guy bought it in the 90s. So clearly the guy I sold it to, who I actually texted on Facebook a few days ago, just out of the blue, I found him on there. It was clearly him. I didn't see a single guitar on his page, so I don't even think he's playing guitar anymore. But, you know, he clearly sold it. It's gone, right? It made its way to the UK somehow. Hey, Gary, what's up, buddy? Fan of Flying V's? I've answered that a bunch of times. Yes and no, not really. They're kind of hard to hold. I owned a Gibson Flying V for a couple of years, and we never gelled. You know, I know Yngwie plays an 8 through a 38 on scalloped. I don't know how he does it. I have no idea, because I would just be like constantly, you know, it's like, I can't see this is 10s, and I feel like, you know. They feel pretty slinky. What neck did the RG 570 had? It depended on the year. The 570 is one of the ones that went past the early Wizard years. That could have a Wizard 2, or they might have even had the Wizard 3 with the all-access neck joint, right? All-access neck joint, which was a 4-bolt system with like a, you know the one I'm talking about. It doesn't have a plate, right? These have plates. No plate on the AANJ. Have you ever met Rob Scallon? Many times, several times. Super, super nice guy. And you know what? Great about him. And he, you know, a lot of dudes keep their cards close to the vest, right? They don't want to talk about like their business strategy. He is the complete opposite. He's like, you got to start a Patreon. You got to have an Amazon account. You got to have this. You got to have that. He's like, you want to make this work. He's like, you need to have multiple streams, because YouTube itself like just won't cut it. And boy, he's right about that. YouTube pays like squat. You know, you really would need like, you know, if you had 1,000 revenue streams, you might make $1,000 in a month. The new Gem Run's limited. They said it was limited. The original one, it wasn't limited for the yellow or the pink, right? For the Road Flare red or the Desert Sun yellow. But if you had the Loch Ness green, they only made 777. Each one was individually numbered and signed. The weird ones are the ones that were signed on the plate. None of the ones I saw ever were signed on the plate. They were signed right here, right there, this back corner. So when I see the one signed on the plate, that tells me the signature wore off, and they had Steve Vai sign a plate later and throw it on the back, right? Because it's easy to take a plate to a signing than it is to take the whole guitar. And then the other thing is when I had mine, I could tell. I touched a little bit of the corner, and I could see that it was coming off, that the the grease pen that he had used, the sign it was coming off. I actually sent it to a guitar guy who was doing some custom paint work, and I had him clear over the back. So if there's one guitar in the set that will never lose its signature, it's that one, because I literally had the signature cleared over. Now, some say that might kill the value, but you wouldn't know. The guy did such a wonderful job clearing it over, I better take a look at these. I haven't looked up the ad bit. Oh, no apologies on the Flying V question. It's a common question. It's because people love that shape. I get the same thing about the Explorer. I've never owned an Explorer, but God, I love the shape. It looks cool. Favorite YouTube guitarist? Oh, geez, that's tough. I mean, there's so many good ones on here. Like Rob Scowen, like we just mentioned. Fluff is killer. Robert Baker is killer. I love Tone King's channel a lot, But if you really want to start getting into Rocco, obviously. But then you start to get into Keith Merrow and, those guys. And that's I think on even a higher level. And then you get guys like Nick Johnson. Does he qualify, right? It's when are you a YouTube guitar player? Of course, Chapman, he's a killer player. Really, Rabia Masad might have some of the best all-around riffs, right? I think a lot of us guitar players, when we hear him play, it's very refreshing, right? He's not playing the same old stuff that we all, get stuck playing. He's pretty, I would say, lyrical in his playing. What was your NAMM highlight? Oh, that's a great question. It might have been the lunch I had with, well, I gotta say, Rocco's performance was one of the highlights. I gotta say, I really enjoyed that performance. It's it was so good. And then, I went to lunch with, Glenn Fricker from SMG. And he took me to this Mexi restaurant, and that was a blast too. He's such a cool dude, and we had a lot of fun. I hung with him for a lot of the afternoon, but it's seeing friends, that's sort of the whole thing about NAMM is seeing your friends. I'm like friggin' waxing nostalgic here, but what's up, Netherlands? My favorite right now is Rick Graham. He's a good one to like. Hey, Terry, what's up, dude? Yeah, Rick Graham. Yeah, he's killer. Charlie Para del Riego. Or Riego. I'm sorry. I butcher names. Just call him Charlie. Yeah, he's awesome player, too. Rick Graham does rule. Rick Graham, if anything, is almost too good. He's almost too awesome, if that's such a thing. Oh, he is just his technique is flawless. I need my guitar players seriously flawed to make myself feel better. Will a guitar player be overcome by technology, artificial intelligence, software? It could. We don't know the limit of that. It's hard for us to imagine it, but right now I can't imagine that happening. No Guitar is Safe podcast is quite interesting. I'll check that out. Rick Graham is the 4-minute mile. Yeah, he really is. The guy is, just sick, right? He's sick. Like Sean Lane. See, someone brought up Sean Lane. That was exactly who I was thinking of. I was he reminds me of a Sean Lane, right? That guy whose riffs are so insane. You're all right, maybe I'll just throw this all up on Craigslist. Right? How's the NAMM tracks coming along? Pretty good. I think today was the best day so far. I'm still congested, but, you know, doing much better. You know, hey, Scotty Rocker, most refreshing guitar brand. I got to say, like, in terms of, like, surprising me in switching it up, it was Chapman. Chapman was the one I went there, and, like, every friggin' guitar was brand new. Everything was changed. Everything you knew. It was like a launch of, like, Chapman 2.0. And I got to say, that one that was, like, the neck through, I think it was, like, the ML1 Modern. It had 2 humbuckers, and it was, like, a neck through construction with an ebony fingerboard. Oh, my God, that thing was nice. Really, really nice. Did you try any Friedman amps at NAMM? No, so Friedman, if you want to try an amp, you really have to go into the booth. And it's always packed in there, and it's always hot and sweaty in there. And you go in there, and you say, like, why'd I go in here? Hey, Tone King. Hey, so Tone King, I wanted to ask you, when you did your show last night, are you still using Adobe Media Encoder, or are you using OBS now? Because I'm 100% OBS at this point. I think OBS is just kicks ass, right? That's how I can, let me see if I can get my mouse over here. All right, whoa. And we can do that. Look, it's the live cam. And then, there. And boom, back to there. If I can figure this out someday, I'll spend a few hours with it, and I should be able to do a video pre-roll before I come out, put a static image up, fade that into a video pre-roll, fade that into me. It's like, if I knew what I was doing. What was your first guitar? My first guitar is a no-name acoustic. My second guitar is in the room right there. See the headstock? See the pegs, the 3 pegs? It's right there. It's an old beater acoustic. And then my first electric is right there. It's an Aria. You know? Yeah, you used Adobe Media. It looked good. I thought it looked really good. You've used it in the past, and you only tried it with me on Skype. You never tried it live. Yeah. I tell you, it's very lightweight. You know, it's an open source, and it's really lightweight. One thing Adobe isn't known for is lightweight. Yeah, I did see the Bad Cat booth. And matter of fact, I think I have a tiny bit of 4K footage of that Bad Cat booth before they open. No. Hey, if you want to know about Tone King addressed that in his live show. If you want to know about the Chapman thing, he covers that. He's not going to type it all up here. Just go watch his live show from last night, and it's in there. And there you go. Can you play some soft tones? Yeah, you want me to switch up? Amps? We can try That's not really soft now, is it? There we go. I don't think I like that either. There we go. That's still got I think that has a, yeah. It had a tube screamer on. Hey, look who's here. It's Robert Baker. Or as I like to call him, Robbie Baker. Pixie, you using the Viper? No, I'm using TH3. I'm using the TH3. That's a Brunetti. More Brunetti. Geez, a lot of Brunetti. That's the Brunetti, like old school. With a spring reverb. Boy, you can really hear that, right? Isn't that crazy? That's the slow. That's like that's their version of like a Soldano. Pixie, do you have much use for a real amp considering how good amp software is these days? Yeah, because you still got to play live, right? You still got to play with other people and you still need an amp. Also, these things are good and you get a lot of very different tones. And trust me, with a complex setup, they sound friggin' amazing. But there's something about when I take like one of these Panama amps and I run it into the reload box and I run that in. I've been running that setup for like a year. The only reason why I'm doing this is because I still got a friggin' free demo and I'm trying to like milk every last second out of this software. Well, that's not contemporary chords. Don't we have a nice... Oh, there we go. All right, I better look at this thing, and I think I'm ready for another sip of coffee. Oh, no. No, let's start with the Viper bombs. I'm going to, like, troll you assholes so bad with that Viper. I'm going to do a video where I talk about the Viper, and I never actually get to the review. Or I have you click a link, and I'm going to friggin' rickroll you assholes. Oh. Thoughts on the final Sabbath show? I was saddened by it. I mean, if there was a band that was a part of my life growing up, it was friggin' Black Sabbath. I discovered Black Sabbath in like 1978. And friggin' just, oh God. It was crazy. How's the latency these days? That really depends on your hardware more than your software and your computer. So the latency is actually pretty damn good. Like non-existent. It feels real time. It doesn't feel like you're there we go. Are you thinking about buying your old Jam now that you know where it is? No, because I think it sold, the last time it sold for $4,000. And that was like in the 90s. I have a feeling the guy is going to want a few bucks for it. Let's try a Plexi. Pixie, it seems everyone wants the Viper. Oh, I know. Oh, don't think that's lost on me. As we used to say, how's it feel to want? What's your favorite guitar in your collection? That's probably it goes back and forth. I got to say, every time I pick up that Telly, I'm like, oh God, I love this guitar. That Telly is so friggin' awesome. It really, God, I love that thing. how do you use Craigslist to buy guitars and music shops or both? I to be honest, I do like most of my shopping. Craigslist, I find Craigslist, eBay, and Reverb are all a touch higher than Guitar Center used. And that's because Guitar Center just feeds off the desperation of people who are desperate for money. They're either in love with a guitar that's on the shelf and they want to trade in towards it, or they're totally broke and they need cash that day. And that puts a downward pressure on prices. A downward pressure as a consumer I appreciate and acknowledge and love. So I tend to go to the Guitar Center mainly because if I don't like it, I can bring it right back. I usually have it shipped to the store. I go to the store, I open it up, and I say, this is awesome. And I walk out the door with it. Or I open it up and say, dude, this doesn't look like the guitar I ordered. And he says, yeah, and I get my money refunded instantly. Or I just say, this guitar sucks. I'm not taking this home. And I return it right then, too. So usually, and I also like opening it up in the store because if there's a problem, I can point it out. And what I very often do is say, like, dude, it's one thing if I just don't like it. But if I don't like it and the description was wrong, the photo was wrong, or the guitar is in like much worse condition or broken, I want my shipping back. And they always do it. But if they get it in and I just say, you know what, I just don't like the guitar, it's unreasonable for me to ask for my shipping back. That puts them in the hole for me trying out a guitar. And I get that they don't want to refund my shipping, and I'm fine. I think that's fair. I tell you, your favorite, you're crazy, I know. It's probably the RG560. Who are we kidding? All right, you called me out. Listen, my wife might be watching. She bought me the telly. The telly. Dudes, come on. Can you be a fucking wingman? See you, Benjamin. So I'm the king of crappy guitars, but I do have a Vandenberg, and Mike, like, there you go. That's not a crappy guitar at all. The old Vandenbergs, man, I remember those. I remember. Do you want Kramer guitars to go on? Yeah, but only with someone who's willing to put some time and effort and marketing into it. I think Gibson just, I don't know. I'll say this about it. I wasn't crazy about a lot of their models. I mean, the one I have, the one with the maple neck and the candy apple body, that reminds me of the old Kramer. Right? They should have made that in the old green that Kramer used to have. They should have done it in all those old colors that everybody used to love. But they didn't. They did like black, white, and red. It's like, okay, whatever. But then they did like the bullseye one. They couldn't do the striped one because that's owned by EVH. So they were in sort of like a, they were sort of in a weird position, right? Because they can't really use the stuff that made Kramer famous, which was Eddie Van Halen. He has his own company now with all kinds of copyright and trademark lawyers to come right after you if you try to use the stripes or anything that reminds it. So what did they do? They did the bullseye. Lame. I don't remember a Kramer with a bullseye back then. Does anybody? It's like they should have done the old colors. They should have made that Beretta, the old Beretta white. The white Beretta is considered like the Grail model. It's like, does anybody over there spend even 5 minutes on vintagekramer.com? Because if they did, they could very instantly find the history of all this stuff. And I think make a product that's more geared towards the people who are going to Kramer are old guys like us, nostalgia guys. So feed our nostalgia. The reason why I bought that Kramer and none of the other ones is none of the other ones look like the ones from the 80s. I ever checked out that pedal show on YouTube? Yeah, I mean, God, that show. Great. I love that show. I mean, well done, well produced, great video, great audio, personable, people. As the hosts, personable hosts. I mean, it's awesome. I wish they were in the States. So I could go over. Yeah, they had a Kramer lineup of one. I actually heard there was two. Pixie, you a hockey fan? Not really. I admittedly am a fair weather hockey fan. I'm in the when my team's in the playoffs, all of a sudden, hey, I love the Bruins, but I rarely watch it. And same with actually baseball. I used to watch all baseball. I used to watch like every game. I haven't done that in like 10 years. I guess since I've had kids. Really? That'll do it. Hi from Saugus. Go Pats. Damn straight, Ken. Saugus. You go up there to go and eat in all those restaurants, the Ship and there was a whole bunch of them up there. The Ship is the one I remember. And of course, Kowloon's. Would you get a Kemper? I would. Kempers sound pretty awesome. Both Kemper and Axe Effect sound friggin' amazing. Their price is amazing too. Stunning. That's a stunning MSRP. So that's the problem, Yeah, see, Rocco says that the 1984 white guitar, right? Am I right, Rocco? That's the one. That's the Grail. It's like, am I the only one who was alive then? That was the one in the ad with the cigarette hanging out of the side. That was the one. And they're like, nah, no one owns white. You can make a white guitar. You can't do the striped guitar, but you can make a white one and a red one, I don't know. They didn't ask me. Yeah, so Robert Baker says, didn't Richie Sambora rock a Kramer? It was like a star, right? They had the star inlay, and that was towards the end, though, right? So you got to remember, Slippery When Wet, that comes out in 1987. He probably doesn't have that guitar until like 1988 or 89, and by 1990, Kramer is absolutely bankrupt. He did have a series for like 2 years at the very end, but I always associate it much more with Van Halen. Ship closed, yeah. I know. The Hilltop Steakhouse, yeah. All those ones up there. It was like and there was an Italian place I remember, right, with a big giant ass Gotti sign. That's what they all had, though, I suppose, right? You'd go up there and they put a Kelly's up there now, right? Isn't there a Kelly's up there? Kelly's roast beef seafood. What's the best Floyd tuning method? Well, you got to get the Floyd. I find the Floyd works best when the bottom of the plate, if you're on an edge tremolo, the top is slanted and the bottom is flat. On a real Floyd, right? This is a licensed. On a real Floyd, the bottom plate is flat. You want that plate, I think, this is my feeling, you want that plate parallel with the top of the guitar, the flat surface of the guitar. And I think that's when Floyd's work the best. People say like, oh, I don't want it to bend back a little bit. That maybe, but if you have it bent all the way back so it's hitting it, don't forget you have a set of fine tuners here. You're going to tune something down, and that rocker is going to hit the top of that guitar. That's why this is recessed like that. That rocker is going to hit the top of that guitar, and it's going to push the whole rest of the tremolo up. And you're going to put one thing in tune, and all the rest are going to go flat. It's a pain. So, Satch Boogie, dude, what's up, buddy? Now I can't play. Now I better get a much more distorted sound with a lot more. Ooh. It's got a little bit of noise on that one, huh? This is the one I like. What's up, dude? Great to see you here, buddy. Here's another killer channel for those of you watching if you want to check out a killer player. Check out friggin' Satch Boogie, man. He's got the riffs, brah. He's got the riffs. Pulling for the Patriots tomorrow? I am. We'll make a night of it. You know, the family. You know, my kids are old enough that they're way into it now. You know, my kids are 11 and 13, so they're all like, yes, they're way into it. So it'll be. Oh, thanks, Satch. There's the man. He knows about the Floyd. I avoid the Floyd. Some people do. I don't blame you, but I had a Floyd Rose in 1984. So, you know, I was an early adopter. And I couldn't, couldn't embrace it tight enough. God, I love the Floyd Rose. I still do. I understand why people don't like it, but man, once you get a good one and you know what you're doing and you can keep it, you know, well-oiled machine, you're in the zone. Hey, Chad Boston, what's up, buddy? Hey, I saw your text to me, but I was doing the live show. I started at 7, so I couldn't do it. We're getting messages and texts. All right, there we go. There we go. I'm back. Go Pats. Yeah, Rocco rips ass. See, Satch knows. Rocco, he's got the... That's my micro sweep. Steve, series versus parallel versus split coils connection. I prefer series. Well, here's the thing. Series is when two coils go into each other and they're added together. Parallel is when they two run, they're not added to each other, but they're just side by side. That's still humbucking, believe it or not. It's just that they're two, the power isn't combined, right? It's parallel instead of series. So when they're series and you have think about this, if you have two pickups, two coils, and we'll just assign a number. It's a 2 and a 2. If it's in series, it's a 4. If it's in parallel, it's still 2, right? Because they're parallel, they don't combine their efforts. And then when you get into split coils, a split coil is just taking two coils and turning one of the coils off, right? You split it. So you're going to get humbucking, right? I mean, you're going to get hum. You're going to lose your humbucking ability. Tapping is when they actually run an extra line about halfway up. They tap a rope, a little extra copper line about halfway up the coil. So you're still getting humbucking, but because they tap it halfway up, you're only getting half the windings, right? That's rarer. They don't really seem to do that anymore. It's usually split. Seems to me like tapping is sort of over. I like it when they provide both a series and a parallel connection for the humbucking pickup, but it's rare. But you know, you got to do like push pull. You have to do some sort of electronic voodoo to get all those things happening. Because most people want series. What's up, dude? Jeva Bayou 51. Edge trim or Floyd trim? Probably. It's hard to say. I'm going to say Floyd, but you know, the Edge trim is, if there was ever one to really give the Floyd a run for its money, it was the Edge. In fact, a lot of us back in the day really thought the Edge was a superior design. It had rounded corners. It locked the bottom springs on, so if you pulled back and you loosened it enough, the spring wouldn't pop off. Right, little things like that. The posts on this, see these posts? They actually lock. Those posts are locking posts. There's actually a small Allen wrench way down deep inside that thing. So what you do is you set the height, and then you crank that Allen down. That drives another tiny little bolt, hardened bolt down in the center, and it pushes up against the threads so they won't turn. That's pretty good. All right, Floyd didn't have that. Floyd Rose did not have that. So I'm going to just say that maybe I do like the Edge better than the Floyd Rose. I'm sort of talking myself into it right now, I think. I better check. So yeah, someone says it's moving fast. I agree. Yeah, the Jimmy Page Les Paul wiring. That's awesome. You and Scott Grover the best. Thanks, man. Appreciate the kind words. Epiphone 60s tribute users tapping. See, now that's where you'll see it, right? You're like a tribute guitar, because that is sort of an older design when they did the tapping instead of the... I don't see it as much. Favorite Steve Vai guitar? Probably the Loch Ness Green. Why do I sell things? Play favorite Hendrix tune? I don't know if I have a favorite Hendrix tune. What's up with favorites? Do we always have to choose a favorite? Can't we just say they're all pretty friggin' good, right? What's up, Jason? See you, Martin. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Really appreciate it. Burlington, Mass. What's up? That's where my wife's from. Originally from Burlington, Mass. Steve, let's go to Kowloon, dude. Don't even kid like that. All right, never kid about Kowloons. What else do I like? Yeah. Yeah. B minor. I feel like I'm practicing in front of you guys now. Yeah, just a second. Oh, wait, hold on. I oughta. Thoughts on Godin guitars, killer guitars. I remember them from the 80s and the early 90s. They used to make a semi-hollow friggin' nylon string that I was just drooling over. I can't believe I have never owned one. I got to get one of those. Remember they were doing that? It was like sort of like a thicker, heavier body. This is probably... Here's Baker. I'm getting a text bomb. I'm like, why is my phone going off? It's because Baker's sending me 6 messages in a row. Let me see. Thoughts on Striper? You know, I was never into Striper. I don't know why. They were right in my wheelhouse, too, in the 80s. And I had so many friends that were. I guess it was just too many bands. I had to pick and choose. Steve Vai or Joe Satriani? I think I can easily say Joe Satriani. I think I like his style more. They're both amazingly technically proficient. They both write really great melodies and lines and everything. I just think I prefer Joe's over Steve's. You know, though I got to say, back in the day, Steve Vai was such a friggin' influence. Really before Joe Satriani came out. And then when Joe came out, I probably really gravitated more to Joe because he was a little bit more bluesy. That's probably the difference, quite frankly. Fan from Portugal. What's up, Portugal? Carvin or Kiesel. I'm an old school guy. I'm going to go Carvin. That's just me. It's the same company. Right. Carvin is a mixture of Carson and Calvin, right? The two sons' names. And he made it Carvin, right, to name the company. But it's the same company, right? It was Carson, Kiesel, and what did I say? The other one. Calvin Kiesel, I think. And then they just merged the names. Ever own a court? I don't have a court. I probably have several Squires made by Court. I don't think I have a Sam Squire. All mine are C, right? They all have a C in the name and the serial number. Like IC, Indonesia Court. Striper's new album is really good. Yeah, they're getting some traction lately. Yeah, Flexible. The thing about, I don't think it was Flexible, but after that, his first one, the one that had Blue Powder on it, Passion and Warfare. Blue Powder was a demo for Carvin amps that came on a flexi disc in a Guitar Player magazine that came out in I want to say October or November or December of 86, if I remember correctly, because we had just moved up to the new store. And I remember we took it home. The new Guitar Player magazine came in. A bunch of us took it home. And we went there the next day, and the guy's like, "Did you listen to that flexi disc?" I said, "As a matter of fact, I did." He goes, "Unfriggin' believable." I go, "I know." Like, just unbelievable. I was Doug Rappaport. A couple things. Amazing player. I thought he was killer. And two, a super nice guy. I met him afterwards and took a pic with him, and he could not have been a nicer guy. He even put up with my ridiculousness. My, fanboying. I think someone just said they had to run out. Understood. Can you play War Pigs? Sure. Don't get me going on a Sabbath Jag. Ever meet Phil X? Yep. Met him a couple times. Like 3 times. The only time I didn't see him was this past NAMM. I saw him at the first 3 NAMMs. I didn't see him this last one. He was there, though. He was all over. Michelangelo Badio, friggin' amazing guy. He was another guy who's too good. And like Mike was saying, Alan Holdsworth, another guy who's just like insanely good. Thoughts on the newer Marshall DSL amps? All those Marshall DSLs seem to sound pretty good. I haven't tried the new one. I don't know if there's a tonal difference. I like them though. I'm surprised I don't have a Marshall here, but it's probably because the software is so good and I have a half dozen freaking tube amps within a 10-foot radius of me. I bought a Carbon 100 because of the blue powder demo. I know, right? I think I drove all the way down to Rockland, Mass to try one out because I was like, and weirdly, I didn't play like Steve Vai. Right? You're like, oh my God. It sounds so amazing. I also think that he had a lot of overdrive in the front of that. He had some tones that were so friggin' saturated. He comes back from one thing where he does like this. Isn't that how it opens, right? Anyway, it was awesome, but when I went and tried out the amp, it wasn't. I couldn't get all the tones. I could get the rock tones, but I couldn't get that searing lead like he was getting. You know. I miss your Black Sabbath covers. I miss your covers. You know what? I want to do more of that. So there was a weird period. I should probably address that right now. There was a weird period where if you did a cover, you know, you could get a copyright strike. I've had my videos muted. Like they immediately just muted the audio. And they said, yeah, you contain copyrighted material. We're not going to allow this to be broadcast. So they could only see my video. They couldn't hear the audio. They muted the audio like instantly. So I was getting a little gun shy about doing the covers because it felt like a friggin' colossal waste of time, right? I would do it and I would post it and the video would get either banned in 38 countries or banned in one country, the US, my largest market, or they would mute the audio, which is the weirdest thing when they would like just mute the audio, you know? They say, we've muted the audio, use different, backing tracks from one of our free backing tracks. I'm like, yeah, well, that doesn't synchronize with what I'm playing, dummy. I can't do that. So I just take the video down. But now YouTube has a way. They've worked with a lot of these. There is a thing in the United States called the compulsory cover, and the word compulsory that's the word you want to focus on. As long as you do things right, they cannot stop you from making a cover. Period. End of story. And if you make a parody of it, even less that you would have to make it. So a lot of people are doing parodies, but the reality is they have a system in place right now where they can actually go back and pay. If you do a compulsory cover, you're entering into an agreement whereby you're going to send them an accounting of how much you've earned, even if that amount is zero. It's explicit. Even if the amount is zero, you still have to say, I sold zero amount, I earned $0, and your percentage is zero. Who's doing that? Record companies. That's it. That's the only people that would have the automation to be able to generate that stuff. But now YouTube has it. So now that YouTube can go and do that, enforce a compulsory cover, we're good to go. Someone said, can you buy the guitars at the end of the day, at the end of NAMM? Not really. I mean, you could do a deal out in the parking lot maybe, but if you think about it, the NAMM security is so tight because there's like millions of dollars worth of equipment in this building, and they can't worry about it getting ripped off. So NAMM never closes in terms of security. The security people walk the halls all night long. It never closes. It's a night shift. So, if you want to do a deal, you got to somehow get that guitar out of there. If you go to leave there and even if you have a receipt or something like that, they're like, no, there are no sales. Sales aren't allowed. Sales are banned. So even if you make a sale, they'll say, we don't recognize your sale. They don't want to hear it. So you really got to do a deal like outside in the parking lot after you get out of there. And after the people who have it, they want it all wrapped up and sealed up. And I'm pretty sure NAMM has a little bit of a lockdown on like how stuff can go in and go out. It has to be like maybe on pallets and wrapped up. They're pretty militant about it. And I think they have to be because they're loading and unloading about 7 football fields worth of equipment. That's a lot. That's a lot, you know. Did I mute Sabbath? When you were in bands, what covers did you play? I think I was in a band one time in the 80s. We added it up. We were doing, it was something like 8 or 9 Judas Priest covers. Just narrowing it to Judas Priest. Forget all the other bands, AC/DC, Aerosmith. We were doing all the Quiet Riot. Just the sliver that was Judas Priest. I think we had like 7 or 8. It was crazy. Favorite pickup? I don't know if I have a favorite. I certainly like Duncan. I love the 59 and the JB set. I like the ones that are in my Ibanez RG 3120. That's a I want to say a tone zone in the bridge, and like a tone zone in the bridge, and I want to say a PAF Pro in the neck. And I really like that one. I got a set of EMGs. It's a SA 89, and I like those too. I'm a fan of that set. You know, I'm pretty wide open. Most pickups out there are pretty good. You know, as long as they're not so ridiculously hot or ridiculously low, you can pretty much work with them. I think the ones that are turbo, like on some of the low end Squires, they're just so brittle. If you can get a low end Squire with the Duncan designed, having done A/B testing back and forth, the Duncan design do sound a little fuller. I think a little closer to the real Fenders. I'm trying to think of other pickups I just don't care for. You know, usually it's pretty good. You know, then you can just dial the amp in a little bit. I just have to answer this text. Sorry, guys, just a little business. Talks amongst yourselves. And here. And that. And I'm back. Cool. Now I gotta read beer. No, I just finished the coffee. God, I could not. That's a tough switch. Besides, it's cold. It's friggin' freezing in here. It's pretty cold out. What's the temperature out right now? I think it's like 28, 29. Actually, it's 28. That's Fahrenheit. That's -2 or 3 Celsius. Or maybe -2. Dude. Yo, Pix, does your buddy still have the Jack Butlers? He does. He does still have the Jack Butlers. Maybe I can talk him into selling me the one that has the little screwed up back on it. Right, one of them has like a little paint wave, a little wavy paint on the back. Text messages. Computers making life easier? I don't think so. That's an old IT joke. You know, we used to bust balls on the IT. We get on the horn with someone. They'd say, okay, what does the screen say? I'd say, it says it's formatting 1%. Oh, wait, now it says it's formatting 2%. What's that mean? They're like, what? In Canada, we drink to get warm. 24 degrees Boston, yeah. 75 and sunny in Florida. Yeah, but then the summer comes. It's all, you guys always are like, it's so awesome here. And then the summer comes and it's like, today is going to be crispy and 78. How you doing? You're like, we have a dew point of 77 and it's 94 degrees out. It's like, please. Some days down in Florida, it's like you walk out of your house, it's like you stepped into someone's mouth. Let's have a little piece of Thunderstruck. I forget it now. Something like that. Could you please play your Chibson Supreme for a couple of minutes? No, that's actually way in the back. I'd spend more time tuning that up. I'd have to dig it out of a deep storage way in the back. We had to move a bunch of stuff out from here. I don't have as many guitars out as I used to because we had to we had the floor put in the garage, and so we had a bunch of stuff that could go to the dump. But people, it was so funny because I talked about it once, and people were like, why don't you just throw it out? It's like, because I live in Massachusetts, which has a very dense population, and our trash disposal is limited. They give us this little container, and they go, fit it all in there, brah. An extra container is something like $250 or $300 a year if I wanted an extra container. And that's only that one extra container. And even then, they've refused to pick up my trash because it had builder's waste, right? If I ever did something and they could see like wood or plasterboard from a job, I once redid the stairs going up to the attic. I ripped out the whole staircase and I put in a whole brand new staircase. Came out friggin' awesome. I threw out all the old stuff and they wouldn't take it. They said, no, that's builder's waste. Call it dumpster. And I did, and the dumpster wanted $450 to drop it off and another $200 or $300 to pick it up. And I said, yeah, I'm good. And what I wound up doing was burning a lot of it. This was years ago. And, but the stuff you can't burn, you have to smash up and put in like 3 mil bags. It's really hard to get rid of crap around here. It's not that easy. We do have a dump. That's only happened in the last couple of years, but even then you're limited to 3 items a day. I remember I brought up some bricks. They're like, oh, no, we don't take bricks. Like... You're killing me. They're like, that's builder's waste. What year were you at Berkeley? I was only there in the summer of '83. That was my big Berkeley year. Summer of '83. Right. Oh. Know any White Line? I don't. I always get asked that because Vito Bratta is such a killer player. I understand the love for the man. I never really learned it. Same with Def Leppard. I mean, I know. And then you find out that's wrong. Yeah, fire pits are great. I burn up all the crap they won't take at the dump. I'll play UFO Rock Battle. I don't think I know that off the top of my head. You know, when's the last time you fired up the original Viper? That admittedly has been a bit, but I still have it. I should move that to the attic. That should be my attic amp. You know, it's a shame to just let it sit there. I should really move that up to the attic. .33 in North Carolina. That's pretty cold. Would you say it's worth it to change the pots on a Kramer Classic to audio taper as opposed to the linear pots? Yeah, in fact, I'm probably going to do that. It's so annoying. Why would they do that? Yeah, I mean, you can hear it. That's what an audio pot sounds like. You heard that yesterday. It was like, It's like on or off. It's ridiculous. What would you like? Let me see what it says. What do you like better, the Gibson Les Paul or the Supreme? I'm going to order one. Wanted your opinion, please. Well, the problem with the Supreme is it's a really difficult guitar to work on because there's no back cavities. They really do follow the Gibson model and don't have there's no opening on there. Right? There's nothing like that. There's no way to get in the back. So how do you do it? You gotta put fishing line to pull everything through the front. I can tell you that that's not an easy job. I mean, it can be done. That's how they put it in, right? And it's real difficult to work on. So if you're really thinking about getting one, I would not get the Supreme. I would get the standard because we both know you're going to be changing some parts in that thing, right? You're going to want better pots. You're probably going to want better pickups. So, if you really are going to go that route, I wouldn't go with the Supreme. It's just going to annoy you or whoever's working on it to put that stuff in. A $50 job turns into a $100 job because of the labor involved. That's my thoughts on that. Favorite wah Pixie? Well, I mean, I don't know if I have a favorite, but I can tell you I like the Mutron wah. I like the Morley wahs. I mean, those are all the killer wah sound. And like the Bad Horsey and things like that. And I like the Crybaby wah, and they all have a little bit different sound. It's like, it's not three of the same thing. It's like saying, I was thinking about buying an overdrive pedal. Too bad I already owned an overdrive pedal. It's like you can have more than one overdrive pedal, right? The same with wah pedals. You can have more than one wah pedal. And they're all pretty distinctive, I think. I think the brightest one is the Mutron. I think the darkest one is the Crybaby, and I think the Morley is right in between the two. They charge you big money for the trash bag. So do you have to get trash bags in your place, Mike? Yeah. Luckily, I don't have that. I don't have it where you have to buy the official town-sanctioned trash bag. But I do have to use the town-sanctioned barrel. It's annoying. Best in show performance for NAMM. You mean like actual, like performing? I'm going to say Rocco. I freaking loved his performance. The other guy who I really didn't know much about was Joey Landreth. And he has a very interesting style. Combines a lot of sort of like Americana and blues and slide. And he has a lot of like different like triads and stuff that he works out. And it's refreshing. It's different than what a lot of other people were doing. So it's always, refreshing to hear that stuff. Are you a pedal geek like me? I'm more of a software geek. I get into the software big time. Because it's so much depth to it, right? You do a lot with it. Pixie, what do you think of the Marshall Code series? I haven't tried it enough. Excuse me. I played one of the larger codes. I thought it sounded okay. It was at NAMM, though. It wasn't the most optimum place to listen to an amp. But, they have mixed reviews. And what I find is the smaller ones that are sort of meh, right? The smaller ones are just whatever. And the larger ones tend to have a better sound. That said, I almost think that Boss Katana, that one is getting a lot of excuse me, a lot of love, and I think for a good reason. Play Anguish and Fear by Angry Maps. Yeah, you first. Play Eruption. Yeah, you first. And the Voxwa, you know what? I have no experience with the Voxwa. That is a glaring omission. But then again, I've only really got back into guitar only about 5 years ago. Maybe 6 years ago. Pretty much when I started the YouTube channel. I was like, I think when I started the YouTube channel, I had like 4 or 5 guitars. Think about that. Maybe 6. And that's including like beaters and acoustics, right? I had like 2 electrics or 3 electrics. Now I have considerably more. Why don't you have an SG? I almost bought an SG. It sold out right from under me for short money. I wish I bought it, but I couldn't get my wallet out fast enough, unfortunately. Hey, Pixie, I got a Pacer Classic. If I want to change the pickups, I need to get a trembucker for the bridge, right? Yes, you should get a trembucker because that's going to be the proper pole spacing for the bridge. You can use, you don't use that for the neck because the spacing narrows. As far as the original Floyd Rose fitting, I have no idea. You better do some homework on that because I don't think it has. You better take a look at that original Floyd Rose and see if it has the flat bar on one side. And then it would fit no matter what, right? Because one side's notched and one side's a flat bar. Well, the flat bar just moves to whatever it needs to be. That's fine. When it's not a flat bar, when it's 2, half moons, that has to be dead on. So then it really depends on what the Floyd Rose has for a setup. Man. What upgrades would you do to a stock classic vibe telly? I love this. I love the classic vibe telly. I would tell you to change the pickups. I actually kind of like those pickups. I don't think they were even all that bad. But you could put some new pickups in there. Maybe some hum canceling pickups. Some nice Duncan or DiMarzio. If they make a hum canceling version of those, that would be sweet. I think the biggest problem with it is that the bridge has the brass barrel, intonation. So, getting individual saddles would make the intonation better. The problem is when you go to change it, you realize a lot of times it doesn't line up. Man, I have just got a dry hacking cough here. I'm going to have to get a water or something. the Zach Wildwa. I can't decide between the Connor or the ID Core. I don't know the ID Core off the top of my head. Someone says the Vox is good, the Wah pedal is good. I believe you. I'll take you at your word. Play Flight of the Bumblebee at 220 BPS. Yeah, just a sec. The Tony Iommi SG looks pretty tempting. It's nice. Considering the real one is 4Gs. He says, do you still have the EVH Chinese? I still have all the Chinese, including the EVH. Because unless you're going to give it away, which is highly unlikely, or you're going to just smash it, which is also highly unlikely, I prize money too much, then, you're sort of stuck with it. I've heard you mention you do IT work. Me too. It's hard to balance that with doing stuff on YouTube. Oh, sure. Especially if you're on call. But not too bad. Next year, zinc lozenges. I know. I know. It's one of those things that... And I went to lunch with Glenn, and Glenn was pretty sick, though. I don't think it was him. I think it was the guy I went to with dinner the night before. He was coughing in that little car. I could feel his breath on the back of my neck. I'm like, Mike, I'm going to frickin' kill you. He was like, he could not stop coughing. Anyway. I know that beer is sounding good right about now. I don't even know what I have over there. I haven't been in that fridge in a while. My buddy Jim has been over a few times, and he always goes right to the fridge. Oh, what do you got? Oh. I could probably find a coffee somewhere. A coffee somewhere. Here's a little friggin' Boston accent for you. Crush Pro Series thoughts? I haven't tried it. I know the Crush Series actually is a pretty nice little amp. I like orange anyway. They just look cool. Have you ever heard of the Super 6 SRV mod? I can't say I have. Someone just writes Ramstein exclamation point. Okay. I don't know what that means. That's an amp, right? Is that a preamp? Ramstein preamp. All right, Bulletface. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Can you switch to the RG with EMGs? I mean, I could. We'll see if we get a consensus on that. Is it beer 30? Is it time for a beer? All right, let me go. I'm going to go check the fridge real quick, guys, because I am friggin' dying here. Let me go check the fridge and see if I can find a beer. I'll be right back. And if not, I might make a coffee. Oi. I'm out of beer, apparently. What's up, Showman Blues? Anyway, where was I? Yeah, Jim drank all my beers. I went in there. I had like 2 Angry Orchard ales. It's like, yeah, I don't think so. I'll just get a water. Get me a water. A water Bills? Yeah, my friend robbed me a beer. Then he'll come over with like an 8-pack of Little Miller Ponies. He'll drink 4 of them and say, I'm going to leave you these. It's like, I know, you drank all my craft beer. You're bringing me this Miller High Life. And they're not even full size. They're friggin' ponies. And he's like, yeah, you're good. Like, all right. Rammstein is a German metal band. All right. I do need some British ale. I like the Trooper, the extra special bitter. I heard that they're going to stick with ales, but I heard they're coming out with another ale, maybe a darker ale. Be interesting to see. People have asked them about making a lager, but it looked like someone farted when the guy asked that of Bruce Dickinson. Bruce was like, yeah, I don't think so. Picks, have you ever been to Wahlburgers? Are they any good? I haven't. They opened one at the airport, and I didn't try it because, let's face it, you want to go to the one in Hingham. So, maybe someday my wife and I'll get down there, but, we have to get away from the kids, and that's hard. Because you don't want to take the kids to Wahlburger. That sounds like an $80 night of burgers. How much of the reissued gems? They're like $36.99, I thought, is the list. Or something like that. Or 40. Is it like 46.66 or something like that is the list, and they're going to sell about 3,500. Between like 3,500 and $4,000. That's crazy. When is the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl is tomorrow night, and my team is in it. And we'll see if they can pull off a 5th win, but, we'll never see. But I don't know if you talked about Troy Grady. What do you think about his mechanic lessons? Yes, you have an amazing voice. Thanks. I don't. That's the guy who's like, he's really got the pick technique right now. Is that the guy? So many guitar players out there. It's hard for me to remember them all, but yeah. He seems to have, is that the guy, the cracking the code guy, right? He does like super close-ups of all famous players' hands. Pixie, you're going to see Iron Maiden on their upcoming tour. Probably not. I'm so over going to shows. I hate to... It's YouTube. Like, I wanted to go to Van Halen. Didn't really have the time or the money because the tickets were kind of pricey. And the next day, within 2 days after the show at the Boston Garden, there were like dozens of videos, really good videos of the show. And I didn't feel like I had to do it. You know? Is that a Japanese RG? It is. This is from 19... It's probably in 87 and probably came out in 88. That's what Ibanez was doing back then. So this most likely could have been badged in 87, came out in 88. I think it's actually a little later, just from some of the things I see on it, you know. It's got this, I don't know if you can see it. It's got a pretty sweet flame neck. Now, it's really hard to pull out that detail. But it's quite flamey, I assure you. Thoughts on the new Charvel Tellys? I haven't seen them. They've done that run before, right? The Charvel Telly. They had the USA ones. I thought they even made a few out of Japan. So it sounds like they just moved it to... Sounds like they just moved it to Mexico, right? Mike says, I loved your old Talus story, yeah. BOC, don't fear the Reaper. I don't know if I know that off the tell you. Right, something like that. It's A minor. That's the killer BOC riff, you know. Then I want to go. Worlds colliding. Yeah, this RG is actually beat up quite a bit. It looks good on camera, but I assure you it's got issues. And there's issues, but I just completely cleaned up the neck and polished it. That's why the frets look so freaking awesome. Did a little fret leveling, a little fret dressing on it. Last night while I was watching the Celtics game. You know. I paid $200 for sticks, but was in the front row. Totally worth it. Yeah. With more cowbell, of course. Exactly. Black and Blue Tour, yeah. That's when Blue Oyster Cult played my high school. Yeah, you heard that right. Blue Oyster Cult played my high school. And done. What did you pay for that RG? I traded for this RG. I traded a Squire 60s Strat that I actually really liked. But that Squire had a little bit of problems, and I had fixed a lot of the problems on it. And I traded this with Bobby. He got this, and this guitar had problems, not the least of which was the repainted headstock. That's stuff like that that makes him mental. The guy had sort of tried to semi-gloss the front of this because he had carved it out a little bit, trying to scallop it, and then realized he had to seal the wood again. That was a mistake. I wound up taking a lot of that off, rolling the edges of this fingerboard, and then just cleaning up the front with a little bit of tung oil. And then you know, the bridge was a little screwed up, but that was pretty easy to fix. And I could have sworn it had a little slightly bad electronics problem. And in the cavity in the back, this whole thing in here, it's all like ripped out up here for a trem setter. So, you know, I wouldn't call this a collectible grade, you know, a collector's grade instrument by any means. Still digging the Les Paul? I am. But I've been playing it so much, you know, that, you know, I've been playing it so much that I felt like a change. And this is like the anti-Les Paul. I'm gonna put Ace in a little timeout here. Because I don't know what he's talking about Mike, but, you know, Mike's a friend of mine, unless Ace knows Mike. You know, we're gonna put Ace in a slight timeout here. I don't know what he's talking about. You know, stay focused, people. Stay focused. How about some Queensryche? You know, Queensryche was just slightly after my time. It really was. That was a band that, you know, Silent Lucidity was all over the radio. And I had already sort of moved into, like, you know, John Scofield and Mike Stern and, you know, was it, right, those, like, Stern licks. And it was just, you know, it was just one of those things where I just sort of miss them. I have a feeling if I was just even just a year or two younger, I would be all over friggin' Queensryche. I really would be, you know. Hey, Nathan, thank you. What amp are you playing through? That's a good question. Well, obviously, I'm playing through software. It's a split rig. It's a DV Mark in one channel and an England. It's really an England burn sphere. It's not a fireball. It's a burn sphere. You've just been burn sphered. Nice chord. All right, so he says, Pixie, please, I know Mike. Okay. Well, I don't know that. I mean, if you're friends, that's cool. That's cool. Please see my Fender Amber Strat loaded with Duncan's disc for you on eBay. All right. I don't know. You mean, oh, I see. So you're selling one. Discount for you on eBay, yeah. I'm in a holding pattern on buying new instruments right now. That's for sure. Ace is my bro. Well, Ace will be out of a timeout in about 300 seconds. Steve, what do you think about the Will Galvin situation? So sad he left. You know, I don't know that much about it. I I didn't really follow his channel all that much, you know. There's a lot of channels on YouTube, and, you know, he was more of like a repairer guy, you know, to me. And I think I've been going with more with the play dudes and the gear guys. So that's all. A says a YouTube channel here. He goes by iDubbbz TV. Oh, come on, Brandon. Do I need to? I mean, seriously, bro. You think you're talking to some kid? I mean, come on, bro. You don't think people know who iDubbbz TV is? Come on. And the probability of iDubbbz TV being on here is like frickin' zero. What's up, Isaac? I mean, swear, people just think you're yeah. Oh, it's so funny. It's funny because it's crazy. Oh, no, there's a timeout. It happens. What's up, Peter? What's up, dude? I didn't forget about you, man. I feel bad. I got real sick when I got back from NAMM, and between taking care of family stuff and everything, I haven't had a chance to take care of you, bud. And I will. I haven't forgot about you, buddy. Picks, when are you going to get a Jackson? You know, that's actually on my short list. I tell you the list of guitars. We should talk about that. The list of guitars this year, you know, I think I'm going PRS, right? So these are the brands. No Fenders, no Gibson, no Ibanez. I think that's my rules for this year. I think on my short list is like Carvin, a PRS, and like Jackson, right? Just three brands I just don't have. And did I ever own a Jackson? I don't think so. Have I ever owned a PRS? I don't recall. No, I don't think I've ever owned a PRS. And I've never owned a Carvin. So there's three brands I've never owned. That's my list. Oh, thanks, Pete, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, iDubbbz TV will be here before the real Ace Frehley. God. But iDubbbz, what? Oh, God. Looks like we got a fucking gay retard. So Mike says Parker Fly. Yeah, that's another one. In fact, Navajo John sent that to me. He sent me he's got a Parker Fly. He's like, dude, you should check out the Parker Fly. I'm like, I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. Have you tried a Jade and Rose guitars? Can't say I have. What time is it? 8:52. Got to keep an eye on the clock. I promised the family I'd be done at 9. That's why we started a little early. Get an Acacia. Yeah, you know what? I tried a few Acacias when I was out at NAMM, and they were pretty freaking awesome, I got to say. J.H. Schofield says PRS is now his favorite guitar to play. Yeah. What other hobbies do you have? It's really just guitar and computers and yard work, lawns. Yeah, PRS I think is gaining traction. They're going from boutique to I think a touch more mainstream. But they're still a boutique, you know. They're still a boutique price. Still a boutique firm, I think. Even though they got massive production. God, they're high end. That's for sure. Oh dear. Like when one of your wife's friends says, "Your wife says you do YouTube videos. What's your channel?" It's like, you don't want to know. It's not. It's not that kind of channel. Are you asking me that, Mike? Did I go to school with those? I don't remember that name. No, I don't want to say the name. But yeah, no, I don't remember it. Ever consider a sir? Yeah, I'd consider a sir, but they sir are expensive. You know, and for that money, I feel like, why not just get a Fender? You know, a really nice high-end Fender, like a Fender Select or a nice Fender Custom Shop. A used Custom Shop would still be $1,000 less than a Sir, a $2,500 Sir, you know, or $800 less. Just made a pot of coffee. Now I hear you. Well, I'm ready to make a whole nother pot. I gotta say, my coffee consumption is through the frickin' roof. Yeah, get an SG. That's another one too. Again, you know what? I want to go outside the normal lineup for what I have. It would be so easy to get a Gibson, a Fender, or an Ibanez. And I want to get something different. I think this year I've got to do something different. Someone says PRS sounds too bright to me. You know, the one I'm looking at is the 513, and it does have one thing where it's a much darker sound. So I got to try them out. I'll try a few out. I'll figure one out. All right, my girl needs me. I'll check the radio rock on. Thanks, buddy. We're wrapping up in just about 5 minutes anyway, because I have to. I got to call it at 9 o'clock. I'm on a hard out, as we say in the business. No shame in the PRS SE. Absolutely not. No, the PRS SE is great. You know, and a couple people were saying they didn't care for the feel of the PRS, and I'm with you on that. I've got to try out a few different ones, because certain nicks I'm not crazy about with them, and certain ones feel great. I don't know which it is. If it's the wide fat or the wide thin, what I'm playing, but there is a neck I like and one neck I don't care for. Ron says I want a comparison, but they're expensive too. They are expensive, and they're a Japanese-made instrument. They're beautifully made. They're really nice, but boy, they are not cheap. You know, any Yngwie? Not off the top of my head. I was never much of a shredder guy. I got to get a shredder down here. I've tried to get the Joe Stump down here a few times, but he's just too busy. I'll get somebody down here as like a real. This is the international symbol for shredding. If you ever see someone go like this, that means shred. Get one of the new Chapmans. I do like that new ML1 Modern. The one with the two humbuckers and the trem and the neck through. That is friggin' nice. What about a baritone? Yeah. In fact, I might try to get my hands on one of the RGDs by Ibanez, which is D stands for detuned, and it's a 26 and a half inch scale. So it's not 28 like a baritone, but it's there. It's a little longer, and you put a thicker string on it. I might try one of those. Get a GNL. I had a GNL here a few weeks ago, and I think I did a video on it, didn't I? A few weeks ago, a few months ago. Jeez. Dan Electro, yeah, there's another good brand I've never owned. Reverend. People give me great ideas. You know. You had John Finn. He can shred, but he's not, and he can shred, but he's not like those 80s. Not like that. Yeah, I know Joe Stump. We've talked on the phone a few times. Yeah, John Finn isn't a shredder like these guys, though. He's a different type of shredder. He's a more finesse shredder, right? I always find that a guy like, and not to say that these guys aren't finesse, but I don't hear John like doing that, 16th notes where a whole note equals 208. Right? It's like he doesn't have that real, like, you know what I'm saying. It's almost like a gliss. It gets so freaking fast sometimes, right? Yeah, Steve Marchana. Steve Marchana is a real good player, I really love his classical playing, quite frankly, and his slide guitar is exceptional. Really good. Edge Low Pro versus Edge 2. I'm Edge Low Pro. I like Original Edge and Edge Low Pro. Those are my two favorite, if I'm being honest. Is that a Gibson Stratocaster? Yep. Gibson Strat. That's some Bugera tube amps. I haven't heard much about them lately. What's up with Bugera? They seem to have all the marketing get go of Kramer. The hell. Laney amps are killer. Laney amps have always been killer. I remember them back in the 80s. We loved Laney. And Ampeg. Ampeg had a run for a little while. Hey, good night, Metal God. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. All right, guys, it's 9 p.m. It is time for me to call it a night. I really appreciate everybody hanging out. I had a blast. I hope you had a blast. I'm going to try and get, I think, some guests on, Philip McKnight, and maybe I can get like Robert Baker and Tone King, and we can do like a NAMM summit where we all talk about, we'll do the final word on NAMM, but we'll see. It's tough to get everyone's schedules together, but I think people would be up for it. So I ran a little late. I'm going to call it a quick night. I appreciate everybody hanging out, and there you go. I'm going to leave you with this. All right, guys. As always, thanks for stopping by. And rock on.